Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce. Coming off pretty much a break-even Sunday. I think I went 5-1 against the spread. It was a good day for top bets, though. In fact, if Darnell Mooney catches that Hail Mary at the end of the Bears game, I went 3-0. Would have swept the top bets. Obviously, it ended up pushing. I think Sunday as a whole finished slightly in the red, but I had a real nice Saturday. So if I had to guess, I didn't add it up yet, but if I had to guess, I'm probably about dead even on the week heading into Monday Night Football. And what should have been a great matchup here, but injuries are really making this one tough to predict. Eagles on the road in Seattle. Seattle catching 3 points at home. Total sitting at 45. Let's go.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
So the public's coming in heavy on Philly here. By the way, I apologize. I still don't have the green screen set up. Still in the process of moving into the new house. It's basically an empty house with a bunch of boxes right now. We'll be back up and running shortly. But anyway, public's coming in heavy on Philly here. The pros must have bought in on Seattle at 3.5 though, because it dropped down to 3 earlier in the week. No question, though, Philadelphia is definitely going to be the heavy public side here. So let's talk injuries, and we'll start with the Eagles offense. Obviously, the biggest one is Jalen Hurts being downgraded to questionable. So he's dealing with an illness, and he was questionable earlier in the week. Then he was upgraded to probable. Then earlier today, during the 1 o'clock games, he was downgraded to questionable. So apparently his illness got worse. Not really sure. So it's looking like he's going to be a true game time decision. Cam Jurgens also ruled out for the Eagles. He plays right guard. Now the Eagles offensive line is elite, so it's not like this losses will completely crush them, but we saw how important this dude is. I think he missed 5 games earlier in the season. And he was definitely missed. The Eagles run game was noticeably not as effective with him off the field. So him being out is definitely a factor. On the defensive side, Philly's going to be missing Darius Slay, which is obviously huge. That's their best corner. Hasn't been playing his best football, though, recently, to be fair, but still a huge loss. And another huge loss. No Zach Cunningham for the Eagles here, which is a tough one, not only because they're already thin at linebacker with Nakobe Dean still being on the IR, but Cunningham is also the second highest rated player on the Eagles' entire defense this year, second behind Reed Blankenship. So Cunningham being out, that's a huge hit to the Eagles' defense. So Philly's going to be really thin up the middle. Shaq Leonard probably getting the start at an inside linebacker for the Eagles. Maybe Nicholas Morrow. Could be a situation there. Let's flip it over to the Seattle side, and their offense is basically identical to the Eagles. Questionable quarterback and missing a right guard. I was confident Geno Smith was going to play. He's been practicing all week. He hasn't missed a single practice, but Jay Glazer, the ball guy on Fox, he reported that Geno's facing a quote-unquote uphill battle to play in this game, whatever that means. So I guess he's going to be a true game time decision right alongside Jalen Hurts. Seahawks defense also dealing with a couple key injuries here. Nwosu's out again, but that's not news. I mean, he's missed pretty much this entire season. But both Jamal Adams and Devin Witherspoon listed as questionable. Neither of these guys have practiced all week. They all missed an entire week of practice. They both missed an entire week of practice. So there's a good chance both are going to miss this game. So we'll do our best to break this one down. But with all the question marks, the key injuries, it's really tough to make a prediction here. If you take a look at the surface level stats from the Seahawks defense of the last 3 games, it's looking like one of the worst defenses in the NFL. 31st in yards per pass attempt allowed, 29th in yards per carry allowed, 30th in third down conversions. But we do have to keep in mind, their last 3 games, they were against San Francisco, Dallas, San Francisco. The offensive DVOA rankings for their recent opponents, 1st, 8th, 1st. But the thing is, it's not like it gets easier here. Philadelphia's 7th. So this is just a gauntlet stretch of schedule here for Seattle. Now, the good news for the Seahawks is this game is at home in Seattle. Always a tough place to go play. And Jalen Hurts has been much better at home in Philly this year. At home, Hurts has a 103 passer rating, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. On the road, just an 85.7 passer rating, 8 touchdowns, 7 picks. And the Seahawks as a whole have played better football at home. They're 4-2 at home on the season, 4-1 in their last 5 at home. But if you take a closer look, the 4 wins Washington, Arizona, Carolina, and Cleveland. And PJ Walker was playing quarterback for Cleveland in that game. So not exactly murderer's row. So yeah, they're 4-2 at home, but 3 of the wins were against the worst teams in the NFL, and the 4th win was against PJ Walker. Now with Jalen Hurts questionable, obviously it makes it really hard to break down these passing numbers because they'll just all be irrelevant if he doesn't play. But when it comes to Jalen Hurts specifically, we don't even know if we could take the Eagles' rushing numbers seriously because he's such a big part of the run game as well. But we'll do the best we can. Eagles on the season have been solid running the ball, maybe not quite as good as we were expecting. This was by far the best rushing attack in the NFL last year. This year, just 15th in yards per carry, 5th in DVOA. Pro Football Focus does have them rated first, though, in their run blocking grade. They're matched up against the Seahawks run defense that's been really underwhelming this year. On the season, the Seahawks are 20th in yards per carry allowed, 19th in DVOA, 17th in PFF run defense grade. Still makes no sense to me how you can take last year's Seahawks defense, who was solid against the run, not elite, but they were solid against the run. They add Bobby Wagner, they add Devin Witherspoon, and somehow didn't get any better. I still don't get that. If you subscribe to this channel, you've heard me mention that several times. I don't understand it, but hey, welcome to Seahawks football. So on paper, the Eagles should be able to run the ball in Seattle just fine. But remember, this dude Juergens is out at right guard, and you can look at the difference. It's a night and day. Look at DeAndre Swift's rushing numbers in the 5 games that Juergens missed this year. With Juergens on the field, Swift is averaging 5.61 yards per carry and 3 rushing touchdowns. Not averaging 3. He has 3 rushing touchdowns. In the 5 games without Juergens, just 3.29 yards per carry and 1 rushing touchdown. And with Jalen Hurts being questionable, like I said, he's a huge part of the Eagles' rushing attack. If he's not out there or he's not 100%, is the Eagles' run game going to be the same? You have to say no. There's just so many moving parts here. It's really tough to make a prediction on this side of the ball right now. But if we flip it over to the other side, it doesn't get any easier to make a prediction here. So obviously, as we know, the Eagles run a lot of man coverage, 8th highest man frequency in the NFL. And Geno Smith has struggled throwing the ball against man coverage, 26th in passer rating compared to 12th against zone coverage. But again, we don't even know if Geno Smith is playing. And with Darius Slay out, how much man coverage do we think Philly's going to run here? Yeah, they usually run a lot of man coverage, but they're missing their best corner, and they're playing a team with 3 dangerous wide receiver threats. So would it be crazy to think the Eagles come out and run a lot more zone than they normally do? I mean, that makes sense to me. Who knows? I mean, I keep repeating myself, but there's just so many moving parts in this game. It's really tough. I'm recording this the night before. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Really tough to make a decision right now. Look, I'm not going to just ramble on and on in this game, especially since a lot of the numbers I'm reading off might be completely irrelevant by the time you're watching this based on who's going to play. Straight up, I want to play the Eagles coming off back-to-back losses. If they had beaten Dallas last week, I'd be completely down to take the 3 with Seattle, but I just can't see this team losing 3 straight. But again, how do we make a decision? How can we place a bet right now? And like I said earlier, Philadelphia is insanely public in this spot. I mean, the whole world is betting Philadelphia here. So something to keep in mind if you are betting the Eagles, like I'm considering, sportsbooks are going to make a fortune if the Eagles don't cover the number here. So obviously not exactly the side that you like to make a habit of being on. But either way, I do like the Eagles, and that's the side I want to be on, but I'm not placing a bet right now. So I'll say Eagles -3. I like to give you guys a pick in these videos, but at this point, I'm not going to place a bet on this one till closer to kickoff. If you subscribe to the website, probably not going to post this one till like 4:35 p.m. Eastern time, just because I'm going to wait it out as long as I can. This sucks. This should be such a great game, but with the injury question marks, it feels like we're just throwing darts in the dark here. So I'm leaning Eagles. I'll let you know final decision tomorrow evening when hopefully I have some more information. All right, so we had a decent week 15, pretty much a break-even week, but top bets did well, so hopefully you made a few dollars. Let's finish it out with Monday Night Football. Hopefully we have some more information later. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.